The avoidant person operates from a position of perceived emotional superiority, believing their detachment grants them power and control in relationships. This psychological stance becomes their primary defense mechanism, protecting them from the vulnerability they associate with genuine intimacy. However, when this false sense of superiority is challenged through strategic emotional withdrawal, their entire psychological framework begins to crumble. The humbling process exposes the fragility beneath their armor of indifference, triggering a desperate need to restore their sense of control and validation. Withdraw your emotional investment completely. The avoidant person thrives on the emotional imbalance they create in relationships, drawing secret satisfaction from their partner's pursuit and desperation. When their partner suddenly ceases all emotional investment, the avoidant person experiences a profound psychological disruption. They lose their primary source of validation and control, finding themselves in an unfamiliar position of emotional uncertainty. The absence of their partner's attention creates a vacuum that their ego struggles to fill. This withdrawal must be complete and genuine rather than manipulative or strategic. The avoidant person's highly sensitive radar for emotional games will detect any artificial behavior. When they encounter someone who has truly moved beyond needing their validation, they experience a form of psychological vertigo. Their identity as the emotionally superior party dissolves, leaving them questioning their own desirability and worth. The very detachment they once wielded as a weapon now feels like abandonment. Stop providing the validation they secretly crave. Beneath their facade of independence, the avoidant person harbors a desperate need for validation and admiration. They carefully construct situations where others chase their approval while maintaining the illusion that they need nothing from anyone. When this validation suddenly disappears, they experience an internal crisis that threatens their carefully maintained self-image. The absence of someone seeking their attention forces them to confront the emptiness they've been avoiding through emotional distance. Their psychological equilibrium depends on having someone invested in gaining their approval, even as they consistently withhold it. When their partner stops seeking their validation and begins finding fulfillment elsewhere, the avoidant person feels an unfamiliar sense of irrelevance. This triggers their deepest fear that they are not as special or necessary as they believed. The realization that they can be replaced or forgotten creates a panic that their detachment can no longer soothe. Become genuinely indifferent to their presence. The avoidant person's sense of power relies on their ability to affect others emotionally, whether through their presence or absence. When someone becomes genuinely indifferent to their emotional games, they lose their primary tool for maintaining psychological control. This indifference must be authentic rather than performed, as the avoidant person will sense any underlying emotional attachment or resentment. True indifference signals that their influence has completely dissolved. This genuine lack of concern for their approval or disapproval creates a profound identity crisis. The avoidant person realizes that their emotional distance, once a source of power, has become meaningless to someone who no longer values their attention. They find themselves in the foreign position of being the one who cares more about the relationship's dynamic, reversing the power structure they worked so hard to establish. Thrive without them visibly. The most devastating blow to the avoidant person's ego comes from witnessing their former partner flourishing in their absence. This visible thriving contradicts their unconscious belief that they are essential to others' happiness and well-being. When they see someone not just surviving, but actually improving without their presence, it challenges their fundamental understanding of their own importance and impact on others. The avoidant person's return often comes with desperate attempts to reclaim their former position of emotional superiority, but they find themselves negotiating from a position of weakness rather than strength.